Welcome to this community newspaper Facebook program, Excellence in Education. This is Marta Perez, and our mission is to expose and inspire excellence in education. Please follow us on Facebook and send questions via our chat room. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have an exceptional local leader who exemplifies excellence in education by his community leadership, his philanthropy, his representation on several organizations. In particular, we're going to talk today about the Knights of Malta. He is their Western Hemisphere ambassador. His name is James Angleton, he has been in the banking industry for more than 38 years and is currently the CEO of Fin Service Corp. He is extremely active and has always been in civic projects and community improvement. He's even the representative at the UN, United Nations. He will share with us some of the ways he serves the community, where he gets his inspiration, education, particularly some of the highlights about what the Knights of Malta are and how they help the school district and students. Please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our show, James Angleton. Thank you so much for being here, Jim, or James, whichever way you like to be called. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
First of all, thank you for having me here, Dr. Perez. You're an inspiration to our community and to the Miami-Dade public school system. It is my honor to be here with
Thank you.
I'm a second-generation Miamian and hail from a very fine American Greek family that I have several school teachers that are in my large, big Greek family. And it is an honor to be with you today and then to speak to you about how we can improve the school systems in our community, because that's what this is all about. We have the passions that we want to help improve and uplift the underserved in our community, and we feel that it hasn't been served in the right capacities by our political leadership. But having folks like you and Dr. Hanneman that I look at as the historians and those that have the sensibilities of knowing the past, the present, and understanding the future for our school system, I believe that it's that type of leadership that we need to maintain and stay in the course of time.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's very kind. So you call yourself second generation Miamian. Your parents were from Greek, or they were children of Greek descent?
That's children of Greek descent.
And where were they from?
My mother was born here in Miami.
And she was also of Greek descent?
Yes, of Greek descent. The grandparents, they lived in the Rhodes section, and they were the founders with several other very fine Greek families of St. Sophia Greek Orthodox Cathedral.
Which is, yes, an institution.
It's well, their bazaar is an institution.
Their bazaar is an institution,
yes. The food is great. Like right here in
And
my father, at the age of 2 years old, the family moved here. And
also, but he was Greek. Your father was Greek. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
From the mother country.
Yeah, from Kefalonia, Greece. And then my grandparents on my mother's side were from Delphi in the Arcadian region. And those are two of the most historical areas of ancient Greece and Greece today.
And they went to school here in Miami-Dade?
Yes.
Miami-Dade County Public Schools. Yes.
Miami-Dade Public. Actually, it was Shenandoah was one of the schools, and then Miami High was the other, and that's with Kouchalakis and all the Greeks, and they were all there, and they had that. They were great at baseball and football, but the bottom line is that my mother went to the University of Miami. She was a trained opera singer, and
really
won the first music award with Dr. D. Filippi back in the day at the University of Miami, and my father was in the Air Force during the Korean War and was shot down. He was the only survivor and landed in a a hospital right outside of San Francisco. And for 1 year, he was in the hospital, and he finished up at the University of Southern California, and then
Came
came back
back.
to Miami, married my mom, and a wonderful family was born in Miami that had the passions of serving our community.
Oh, beautiful. Absolutely. And obviously, your father being a veteran, probably that part of that service came to you. And do you have siblings? Are you an
I
only
do.
child? You
I
do?
do. I have a sister. She lives here in
In
Miami,
Miami?
and she's. I'll brag about my sister. She's won 9 Emmys. She's been in the TV industry for a long
Oh,
time,
wow.
and a super talented, lovely person, and have a very nice nephew.
Is
And
she older or younger?
she's younger.
So you were the oldest. You
I'm
were
the
the oldest
I'm the
boy,
oldest, and she's the
the
youngest. But
baby.
yeah,
And
four
that's all.
years difference. But
And where did you go to high school?
actually, we lived in an area called Bay Point, and
Hmm.
so I went to Archbishop Curley High School.
Okay.
And for a short period of time, I went to Coral Gables Senior
Uh
High,
huh.
and my father had owned a very large paint company that was right there on Ponce Leon Boulevard.
Uh-huh.
So I walked over to the school every day, and then at the end, because I wanted to go to the University of Miami, um, I went to I changed at Curley
Hmm.
for the ninth grade, and then went through the system there and
Uh huh.
walked to school every
And
day.
and then did you go to UM
I did. I went
a-
to the University of
and
Miami,
studied
uh, international finance
uh,
and governance.
and governance and then when you were a young boy and graduated, got your bachelor's, how did you go into your father's business, or did you branch out into new areas
You
away from
know,
the family?
um, great question. I went into a family business, but my father was not only my father, my best friend, my mentor in life,
Hmm.
and um, I enjoyed being in business with him. He taught me everything. And then he said some very profound things to me. He goes, use me as a stepping stone. I expect you to go further than me.
And what did that do to you as a young man?
It motivated me.
Isn't that we should all our students should have fathers like that, right?
They should have parents that both help promote their abilities to go further than they have,
Exactly.
and also to give along the way to help others to instill that growth. Because really, what you all do is teach our future leaders.
Hmm.
How important is that? And look at the poor level of treatment that between budgeting of money and then introducing charter schools and then the private schools, it kind of takes away from the element of what
Hmm.
the public school system was all about. I mean, up until the time I went to high school, I was in the public school
Hmm.
system, and we lived in the road section, and I went to Coral Gables Elementary, and then all the way up. And so to that point, it was a great foundation.
Hmm.
I made so many friends
Yes.
that we still today are friends.
Yes.
And I was opposed of the charter school system, to be totally honest with you, and I thought that we should put more of the resources into the public school systems, and that's why I have been quite involved and passionate about the future, the success, and then helping spirit others that will grow. And this is why, as a Knight of Malta, we have some wonderful outreach programs that we provide to the community, and we work with the public school systems.
So now let's talk a little bit about the Knights of Malta. How did you, because you are of Greek descent, tell us a little bit about Malta. I've been to Malta actually.
Beautiful, huh?
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
All of that area is just beautiful. But how it happened, how you got involved, and all the wonderful things that they do around the world, but especially here in Miami.
The Knights of Malta is a sovereignty of state. It's not an organization,
And
And
what does that mean? A
what that means
sovereignty of
is
state
we have a monarchy. We have a prince that is in Malta,
in Malta?
and they do have democratic elections. However, if something is awry, the Prince Jose Cosmeli gets involved,
Mm-hmm.
and he's removed a prime minister or two in his past. And
Mm-hmm.
to this point, the Knights of Malta, the earliest.
It's knights and dames.
The Knights and Dames, and absolutely can't forget them because they are the leadership of the men. And to this point, back in 1092 AD is when the first records of the Knights of Malta were
Wow.
there. So
Wow.
um, we have three passions, and one is um, um, maintaining the security of the Ark of the Covenant.
Mm-hmm.
And not too many people understand what that's about. But the other side is to help uplift and help the underserved, the underbanked countries and communities, and helping the citizenry of those countries
Mm-hmm.
thrive.
Mm-hmm.
We like to bring in education. We like to bring in medicine. We like to bring in housing. And so to this point, the only way to uplift our communities and our society is to put money into the foundation of education, because without
Absolutely.
that, ignorance is bliss.
Oh my, you got absolutely, absolutely. It's everything.
Yes, it is.
It really is. It's absolutely. So it's Malta is a small island, a small European island. So how is it that this Greek young man, or actually an American young man of Greek descent, happens to represent it? The knighthood. You're the representative for the entire Western Hemisphere. Do you have people in Latin America?
Oh, yes. Um, the process of selection is secret. And I understand that for 12 years they were watching me. And
Really?
I did not
And
even
someone,
know this.
what did someone nominate you? Say,
Well,
this looks like a nice guy?
one day I received a call out of the blue, and it was the prime minister and the foreign minister
Of
and
Malta.
of Malta.
Wow.
And Malta is actually 3 islands. And the bottom line is that they came to Miami and they said, we've been watching you for a long time.
Wow.
And you demonstrate the leadership, you demonstrate the care. We believe you are worthy. And because of your family and what your family has contributed to our country back in time, we would like to knight you.
Wow.
And I was so taken back by that. And
you were a banker at the time, or were
banker,
you?
but I was the kind of guy that laid low in Miami.
But what do you think about you? They said we've been watching you and we know about you. What do you think about you made you an attractive candidate for them?
When you first introduced me, you touched a point on philanthropy.
Uh-huh.
Okay. It's something that I learned from my parents.
Mm-hmm.
And we were the type of people that donated with the name anonymous, because it's not about us. It should not be about the person giving. It should be about what's coming from his heart and where his direction in his mind or her mind is. And that's the key to all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not about you or me. It's about everybody. And being in the banking sector, I had done a lot for the underserved communities. My bank and Bank of America worked with Habitat for Humanity. We built the Scott Housing Project together.
Mm-hmm.
And right off of US 1 in the Grove area, there was a blighted area that we built brand new homes. And so to this point, we put our money where our mouth was, and we did. And we didn't ask for a thank you. We didn't look for one. To see the smile on the face of a single mother with 4 or 5 kids going into a brand new home. And God bless the Capo family with El Dorado, who provided furniture for these folks.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
And it's just a wonderful thing that we were all able to get together and do good.
Mm-hmm.
Then what we ended up doing was coming to Dade County Public Schools and seeing the various and sundry managers that have been over time and have quietly donated money to help uplift the schools themselves and to provide money for, I mean, teachers are using their own cash and own savings to buy supplies. And we were going, oh, that's unacceptable. We went into one school and the piano was so out of tune.
Oh.
We bought them a brand new piano.
Oh my gosh.
And had it sent in 3 days
Oh
later.
my goodness.
And it was the blessing to go to the Christmas pageant and listen to all the kids singing on key and with a beautiful piano that worked very well. And
that must have been,
that was the thanks enough.
that was a beautiful gift, particularly when your mother was an opera singer. It must have meant so much to you to be able to do that for children who, there are priorities, and our principals sometimes maybe tuning a piano is not a priority, but
or the money wasn't there to do it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The money was not there.
Yes.
The priority is, of course, the money.
Yes, ma'am.
And so that must have been very gratifying for you. Yes.
It was a great gift. The one thing that we would like to see more, though, is physical ed in the schools. And I mean, we would help in a very big way with that movement.
Yes.
And putting together those elements to help the kids expel some energy. And also the camaraderie through sports is just instilling, and it's a wonderful thing.
Has the pandemic changed, would you say, philanthropy and your efforts to help the community? How has the pandemic, no one has ever thought about this, but I'm sure even in the philanthropic world, it has to be different now. I know one of the things when you talk to people or try to put projects together, now it's Zoom. It's no longer, used to be you'd meet and greet and have a party or something. Now I guess it's Zoom, but I don't know if there's other ways that philanthropy has changed.
We did a study, and we shared this information with the White House and with the UN and our colleagues around the world. And we noticed that over an 18-month period of time, productivity from people working from home went up by 84%. Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
Now, what that was attributed to was staying home, being quarantined, not being able to get around, and then missing the socialness. And we have noticed that over that 18 months, that has now carried over to today, the socialness of society has gone down. And the interpersonal is something that is still being measured today. And it's very important for the face-to-face. So the best next thing was Zoom, TeamViewer, or FaceTiming. And okay, that helped the business world, but it didn't help our youth.
Oh, no. Oh, absolutely.
I think it has taken away from the social aspects of interacting with one another. And the pandemic is still something to be reckoned with today. And we won't know about all of the effects for the next 10 years.
Oh, and for us, just very briefly, the impact on our teens and our adolescents is horrible, because those are the years when kids get together and want to socialize. And the amount of teachers, administrators that told us case after case about depression, anxiety, students when they were on Zoom that they didn't want to comb their hair, they didn't want to get up from bed, parents, and so many.
They lost their routine.
Absolutely.
And your question about philanthropy has been affected in a very sad way. There is philanthropic fatigue. And then many of the families have had to dig deep into their savings to live. Some people put more money into their homes, that made a very nice home office, a little home theater, added, new appliances, just to make the surroundings nicer.
Nice.
But what about those that are from the workforce or those that need the affordable housing?
Mhm.
I've been a champion and I've spirited many discussions within Dade County and our present two mayors that, I'm hearing about affordable housing,
Mhm.
but they're ignoring workforce housing.
Mhm.
And to this point, that is absolutely a necessity. And these
Absolutely.
poor kids do not have a computer.
Mhm.
They don't have the access to connectivity.
Mhm.
So we went with Dell and we made a program.
Mhm.
And we actually asked teachers to let us know those that needed the most
Mhm.
these levels of help.
Mhm.
And we bought thousands of laptops.
Oh, great.
And the most proudest moment is when you bestow one to a family that didn't even know that
It's
somebody was
something. Oh my
identifying them
gosh, I have
to
seen
help
those.
them. And I'm getting goosebumps
Oh,
now
me
just
too.
thinking that
You
you go and knock on the door and you just say that
here is this, and I
we
go,
have we have a present for you and we would like for you to use this in good spirit,
uh-huh.
and we will send an IT person to help you
And
and
it's
and
like
to
you're
turn it
giving
on.
them the world. I have experienced that myself. It's like you are giving us what?
Yeah.
It's like you're opening the world to these people.
And you
It's
have to.
and you have to, and absolutely, we absolutely have to. And
I
you
want to
know,
share one thing though,
yes.
if you
So
don't
go
mind.
ahead, of course.
One family that I went to, it was in Florida City,
Uh-huh.
and the daughter was 11 years old. And
Oh.
she cried. And I said, "What are you going to do first?" "I'm going to get on Zoom. I want to talk to my abuela. I haven't
Ah.
spoken to her in 2 years."
Oh my goodness. Isn't
And
that lovely?
oh,
Uh
that killed me.
yes.
It was
It's just
it was a beautiful moment.
those of us that fortunately get on a computer and have access to so many things.
Take
We
it
are
for
so
granted.
lucky
Yeah.
in the United States. We do sometimes take for granted
Yes.
what it means to open up the world to some of these people that don't have the
Oh,
3,000 or whatever it is that
it's
I mean
expensive.
that the
Yeah.
computers cost, and it's just delightful. Let me ask you, Jim. Uh, you have had a wonderful life. You've been able to travel, to do so many things, have a wonderful career. What have been some of your challenges in your life in order to be the successful man that you are, and the wonderful statute that you have been able to achieve?
Wow, what a question. Humbly, I say that to be able to give and to be able to help is something that my parents instilled in me. And I watched them, and for myself, um,
Mhm.
when you go and you help others and you've been blessed and you recognize that you have been blessed,
Mhm.
if you don't give back,
Mhm.
shame on you. If you sit and take and not give, shame on you.
Mhm.
And these are the things that we try to call out in society today, that the opulence of luxury life. What bothers me is sometimes on TV, if you notice the ads, they're all aimed at luxury items.
Mhm.
And no one's talking about, I need food.
Uh-huh.
And we go to some of these companies like Costco and Jetro and Gordon
Mhm.
Food Service, and we cut a deal with them for, we will buy this, you will give matching, and then send it to these
Uh-huh.
food brokerages
Uh-huh.
so that they can give it to the
Oh, that's
communities.
great.
It's huge. And
It's
so the other side of it is we give student debit cards so that they can go and buy their books,
wow.
so that they could go to the school dance. Or in today's world, because of the level of pandemic and the parents being scared to send their kids, out to a party or something like that, and they don't really wear their masks all the time.
Mhm.
And to this degree, you have to you have to think about where you've been, then where
Mhm.
you're going, and what is your legacy going to be. And it's not one that you want to have somebody say, this is from the blah, blah, blah family. It's these people of our community
I
have
helped.
done this for everyone else.
And if what would you want your message? We're almost running out of time, and I have so many more questions. But what? How can the community help you? What are you requesting of our community to help you to do all of these wonderful things that you through your philanthropies and also through the Knights of Malta, what would you want us to do?
The,
How
me-
can we help?
the message would be to go to our website,
Hmm.
which is knightsofmaltaus.org. And what we're trying to do right now is ask people to help us identify the families that are hurting the most.
Identify
And
families.
and then the second one is to understand that there is a certain date and place of time where your your family unit has to watch your curriculum. We're trying to promote more science, more math.
Yes,
We want
yes.
we it, it's it,
That's
it's
your
huge.
Greek roots.
Well, the other side of it is we give grants, we give scholarships, we promote. Many people don't realize this, but our government does some wonderful
Mhm.
internships. One that we promote a lot is for 12th grade students to go to CIA.gov, and the government will bring you in for a 9-week
Can you
internship.
imagine?
They pay you. And what they do is you go through different departments and you leave with an affinity of what it takes to keep this country free.
That is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
So we
Yes.
want to instill
Yes.
how to become a great American and
Mhm.
then how to be a caring
A
American.
caring American.
And so having wonderful folks like you
Oh,
in the
thank you.
leadership for our community is what makes this so
Oh,
important
thank you
and
so much.
instills this in us.
Well, now tell us, and we have so little time, and I want to ask you some other things, but was there a teacher that you recall that did something that changed your life or that inspired you in any way?
Oh, yes. In second grade, and uh, her name was Mrs. Reynolds, and she was my math teacher.
Uh-huh.
And I wasn't the best in math. And she took the afternoons and helped me
Oh,
understand and motivated me towards math and the processing and the analytical skills that's missing today.
uh-huh.
And with that level of care, and she picked me out of the class. And my grades were okay, but she saw that I wanted to learn more. I wanted to grow farther. But, in those days, there was maybe 14 kids in a classroom. I can't imagine what it's
What
like
it's like
today.
today. Well, let me ask you now. We're almost out of time, so these are different kinds of questions. What's your favorite meal?
Oh, you would have to ask me that. My wife would say Italian, but for me, I love bronzini fish and the way the Greeks do it on the char grill.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
delicious.
It is delicious. Okay. And how do you relax?
Oh my. Um, I don't.
You don't?
No,
Oh, ever?
no, I'm involved in so much. At 2 and 3 in the morning, I get up and I'm on Zoom calls for colleagues of another country to discuss things. Um, I think I thrive on working
Mhm.
and doing and keeping busy. I like to listen to music in downtime, and that might
Mom's
be,
influence.
yeah, yeah. But the bottom line is that um, I enjoy staying busy,
Mhm.
keeping the mind rolling, and
Uh-huh.
pondering the notion of what else can we do.
Isn't that wonderful? We're out of time, but thank you, Jim, so much for being here, for all you do, for all you have done, and all that you will continue to do to help others in our community. Your philanthropy is renowned, and you've mentioned how people can help the Knights of Malta promulgate their message, continue to do good things. thank you so much for being our guest. And thank you for being a part of our community. And thank you all for listening to our program, Excellence in Education. And have a wonderful day. Thank you.